Good morning, YouTube. This morning we are going to do another gluten-free side-by-side taste challenge. Today we are going to study some English muffins. English muffins make a really good breakfast addition or a snack, especially for somebody who's gluten-free. So we want to have an English muffin that is just handy and easy to eat and tasty. And today we are going to study two different brands. These are how I got them at the store. They're frozen. The first one is Udis, Gluten Free English Muffins. And the second brand is Glutino, Gluten Free English Muffins. And I am not paid by either of these companies, so I'm just reviewing them as a consumer. The first thing I would like to say is I think that both of these English muffin varieties have the most tremendous waste as far as packaging is concerned. As you can see, there is just a tremendous amount of air all around these muffins, and that's for both packages. It's like they don't, I don't know what they think, but they're frozen when you get them. It would be a lot better to package them differently. But this is how they are. Typically, when I get these, I will open the package up, pull them out of their sleeve. I will tell you the prices I paid for these muffins. I bought them at the same store on the same day. There they are without the wrappers on. And let's look at the muffins individually to start off with. The boxes get quite a beating in the store shelves. So let's take the center muffin and let's look first at the Glutino muffin. And you will see it's round, nice little muffin. And the top we have like a cornmeal or some sort of thing on the top of them. Like I said, these are still frozen fairly hard. I'm going to do the same thing for the Udis. There's no cornmeal on the top of these. But other than that, they look like a fairly comparable muffin. For some reason, only known to God and the original maker of English muffins are never cut all the way through. They partially cut them, but they're never cut all the way through. So the first thing we're going to do in this challenge is we are going to put these in the microwave just long enough to thaw them out. That's for the sake of time. We are going to get these just thawed enough that I can cut them. Normally I would just put them in the refrigerator until they thaw out, but alright, at this point both of the muffins have had 30 seconds each in the microwave, and we're going to see if we can cut them open, separate them. We'll start with the Glutino and we'll look it over. We'll see that it has, you can see where it's partially opened, and it's just about maybe a fourth on that side and just a little bit on that side, not much. We're going to hold it in our hand. I'm just going to take a regular knife, kitchen knife, and cut through it. And we're going to open it up so you can see what it looks like inside. And look, if you can see, it's nice and soft, spongy. Looks pretty good, front and back, separated nicely. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the Udis muffin. Look it over. It's got a little sever on that side and about the same size on the other side. This muffin's not as cut through to start with as the Glutino was. We'll take our knife, cut it open the same, and there's the inside of that one. It's a little more coarse, I think. Let's compare just the two top buns. You can see that the Glutino has a little more yellow color, and the Udis is a little more of a brown tan color. I think that the hole structure in the Glutino is a little bit more even. We've got some big holes and some small holes in the Udis, and this one is a lot spongier and softer, and this one's a lot more coarse, I guess you'd say. It's not as springy. This is real springy and nice. Okay, so far so good. The next step is going to be toaster. So I'm going to put the Udis in the toaster first. Okay, this is the Udis, fresh out of the toaster. Toasters are another subject. My toaster is not very great, but I will tell you, if you are gluten-free, this is a little side note. If you do not have this, you need this. These are toaster tongs. They're made out of bamboo, and you will need these because all of the gluten-free breads are smaller than the regular breads, and you will find that when you put them in the standard toaster, you can't get them out. And with the toaster tongs, you can reach down in and safely retrieve your gluten-free goods. That's just a little side note about gluten-free eating. Another side note is you need, especially if you're a celiac, you need a gluten-free dedicated toaster. Putting your bread in and then putting gluten bread in the same toaster can result in cross-contamination, and if you are gluten sensitive, you want to avoid that at all costs. Okay, now these are the Glutino. They just came out of the, these are the Udis muffins. They just came out of the toaster. You can see how they toasted up. There's both sides. They're pretty nice. It's actually livened it up a lot. It's a lot more soft than it was. It's not as hard and coarse. Case the average way most people eat an English muffin is with some butter. So we're going to put 1 pat of real butter on there. Most of you know the benefits of eating real butter over processed man-made butter. Real butter is a dairy product, and it has B vitamins in it and stuff that a margarine does not have. So it's a pretty important addition to your diet. We're just going to put the butter on there and let it kind of warm up a little bit because our butter's cold. And meanwhile, I'm going to get the other out of the toaster. Alright, same toaster. This is the Glutino brand. You see the bun got a little bit more brown on it. Almost burnt. I think it's just because it's a little bit thicker top bun than the Udis has. But again, it's nice and crunchy. It's softened. It's probably, listen, probably a little more crispy. Hear that? And I don't think it's just because it's more burnt. It's just not as crispy. It's more. This is more crispy, and this is less crispy. So this is the Glutino, and the same deal. I put a couple pats of butter on here and let them melt. And I'm going to spread the butter on the Udis muffin. Now that it's had a chance to soften a little bit, we'll see how they spread. Okay, it's doing well. The bread, the texture's holding together. It's not tearing up. Even if my butter's a little cold on this side, it's holding together. And I know there's always going to be those of you out there that are like, oh, you're eating too much fat. But a little bit of healthy fat is good for you. Your brain needs fat. Your nerves need fat. So, there we go. I'm going to do the same with the Glutino. It's not had quite as long to soften the butter up here on this one. But again, It seems to be spreading. It's not falling apart anyway. My butter's not as softened for this one, but the muffin is holding together, and that's the main point of the demonstration. Okay. Okay. Here they are, both buttered and ready to eat. Now, visually, this one is more cracky and craggy looking. This is the Udis. It's more cracky and craggy looking. This one's more smooth, even if it is a little bit more brown and burnt. But visually, between the two, if I was going to pick one to eat, I'd probably choose this one, just because this one looks a little more dry. But let's give it a taste test. And no, I'm not going to let you watch me eat on screen, because I think it's a little gross. So we'll just take a little bite out of this and see. Okay. Big old bite for mankind. The Glutino muffin has a very good flavor. It definitely has some grittiness to it. I think that's due to the cornmeal that's on the top. But it's just a crunchety, really good flavor. Really nice muffin. I like it. Do the same thing with the Udis brand. There's on the inside. The Udis is also a very good muffin, but it does not have that grittiness that the Glutino does. But in some ways, it tastes more biscuit-like, I guess I would say. It doesn't have as much English muffin-y flavor. And I don't know if that's because of the cornmeal on it or not. But they are both a very good English muffin. Both of them would make a good breakfast sandwich. They would both make a good snack. Comparable, I think. Just depends on what you like. If you have dentures or partials or something like that, you may prefer the Udis, just because it doesn't have this grit that you may get some of that underneath the partial or something. I don't know, I don't have them, but I'm just saying it's got a little grit to it, so that may be a problem for some people. But both of them are very good English muffins. And for a gluten-free muffin, God bless both companies. The only thing I say I would do differently is the packaging, and I'm going to show you how I typically package mine up so you can just see it, because I'm not going to keep that great big floppy box in the refrigerator. I can tell you that both muffin brands do store well in the refrigerator. Can you see? Can you see how I did that? I just stacked them up like that. I think that they need to come up with a packaging of this way somehow. It would just be a lot less packaging, be a lot easier to store, and it probably would protect the product quite a bit. I always label all of our gluten-free at home. And so I would just slip the label in like that. Gluten-free produce, as we all know, costs so much more than an average English muffin. So I want to make sure that those people in my family that are not gluten-free don't accidentally eat our expensive gluten-free muffins. It's not that I mind sharing them, but if they can eat a cheaper, let's say less costly muffin around here, that's usually the choice. Okay, and there's how I've repackaged them. So that's my English muffin review. I just want you guys to know that I think either of these English muffins would be a good purchase. Typically, if given the choice, I prefer the Glutino. I just think it tastes a little more English muffin-y. But they both hold up well. They both do what they're supposed to do. They both have good texture. Neither one of them crumbles or falls apart. And they are a very good buy for your money. Thanks for watching.